Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Sitting Down with Dwyrin. Tonight's guest is going to be Haylee. Some of you may or may not know who she is. But before we jump into the interview, there's a few things I do have to warn you about. This interview, she was at a internet cafe. As a result, there is a little bit of background noise. Also, my connection over to China and Korea in particular has not always been the greatest. As a result, during the Skype conversation, you will notice that a message does pop up, I think once or twice, notifying that the connection's not exactly the strongest, warns me about that. I get rid of that later on throughout the video. However, it will pop up, so expect it. Sorry about that. Was beyond my control. If you don't mind either of these two things, then let's get right to tonight's guest, Haylee. So, thank you very much, Haylee, for joining me here today. It's a pleasure to have you on. Anyone who follows your channel obviously knows why I wanted you to be a guest, but for those who maybe aren't familiar with who you are, aren't familiar with your channel, go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us who you are.
Hi everyone, I'm known as Haylee, but my name is Hajin, and I am running my YouTube channel where I post my videos. In my videos, I would play online games on Go servers like TaiGem, and while I play, I would also talk about what I'm thinking. So it's been about a year since I started my channel.
Alright, now you are a professional 3-dan, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
At what age did you become a professional?
I was 16.
16. See, that's
Yes.
one of the fascinating things about Go. Like, in other careers, like, oh, what year did you, like, get into this job? And it's, like, after college sometime, you're in your 20s.
Right.
But for
Yes.
Go, it's really, really early. So you must
Yes.
have been introduced to Go fairly early, right?
Yes, I started playing when I was 5. And then when I was 9 years old, I was already in the course for becoming pro, studying like several hours every day.
Now, when you say that you were 5, did you discover Go when you were 5 by yourself? Did your parents, like, come around and be like, this is Go, you're playing this? Like, how did you get into Go at 5 years old?
So both of my parents liked to play Go, and then they would play Go at home like on Sundays.
Mhm.
So I was young and I was around, and apparently I asked my parents to teach me.
Oh,
That's
so
what they told me, but I don't remember that part.
so you instantly liked Go then. You wanted to learn.
Yeah, it seems.
Interesting. At what point did you even think about becoming or trying to become a professional player?
At 9 years old, I moved to this professional Go school where everyone is studying to become pro.
Mhm.
And since I started studying there, I think I want to be a pro.
Uh,
So,
about how strong were you when you began studying there?
oh,
Do you remember?
let me think. I think I had about 6 handicap stones from my teacher who was professional player.
Would you say that you were perhaps an low amateur dan at that point?
Could Yes, it could be about 1 dan, I guess.
And that's around 9 years old.
Yes, yes.
So at around 9 years old, you're already stronger than like so many other people. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm sure you've met them too. There's like so many people out there. Their goal is to become a 1-dan.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, I was very lucky to start it early on,
Mhm.
and then my parents sent me to these Go schools for children, and I would go there every day and then study for like 2 or 3 hours, and then on weekends I would play with my parents. So
Nice.
it felt very natural.
How exactly does one study to become pro in Korea? Is it just taking classes? Do you actually have lessons with a pro? Do you just like play a lot? Like, what's involved in that?
So first, as soon as I finish my school, like elementary school or middle school, I would go to the go school,
Hmm.
and then it would be about 2 p.m. when I get there, and then I would stay there until like 10 p.m. So that's the time, and then I think it went like this from 2 to something like 3:30 we would study like professional games or life and death, something like you study alone, and then we would play with each other. We had this internal league, so we would play one or two games, and then our teachers would review our games, and then we had dinner break. And after dinner break, we would be back at the go school at about like 7:30 or 8, and then study again until 10. When you're studying, like almost every weekend, you have either tournaments or inside league,
Hmm.
and like in summer and winter vacations where you don't go to school, we would go to the go school by 9 a.m. and stay there until 9 p.m.
Hmm.
Only go.
That certainly sounds a lot different um, from, let's say, some other people you've been interviewing recently. And those of you who are not aware, Haylee does have a series where she has been talking to Western professionals. If you haven't checked out those videos, the links will be in the description down below. Make sure you check those out. I remember, I think, let's see, was it Calvin Sun, the first person that you interviewed?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was Calvin.
So I'm noticing there's a little bit of a difference here. How he became pro, I think, and you can correct me if I was at all mistaken about this.
Hmm.
He was available one weekend and it was going on next to him, so he kind of showed up and became pro. It sounds like there's a
Yes.
little bit of a difference with what you went through. That not quite the
Um,
same in Korea. Couldn't happen that way.
right. So actually, in Korea, the earlier days where the Korean Padel Association was just starting the pro system, it was more like now the American Go Association.
Mm.
Like they were selecting two pros each year, and those who were like not studying full time, definitely no. They were like doing other things with life, but then they were very strong Go players also, and they just attended this pro qualification and then became pro somehow.
I
So I think it just takes some years to build
mm.
up.
So I guess if anybody is interested in actually being pro in the West, you might want to get started on that. It sounds like it's going to be getting harder and harder every single year. So good luck with that, everyone. Um, obviously,
Another, yes.
sorry, no, sorry, continue.
Just that Korea was in a better shape to start that because a lot of population was already playing Go as hobby.
Mm,
So we already kind of had the audience. It was easier to find sponsors for professional tournaments.
mm,
But still, yeah, I believe it will be more competitive in the future.
I see. Uh, let's see. Oh, right. Going back, you mentioned that your
Yes.
parents obviously played Go. They, I guess, are largely responsible for you taking up Go. Um,
Mm.
I guess were they okay with you deciding to become a pro? Was that their idea? Was that your idea? Was that both your ideas?
I think I think that was my idea in the beginning, and then my parents were very supportive.
They had no problem with it.
Right? No.
Okay. That is absolutely the reverse of what you would have in the West. If your parents actually knew what Go was and you're like, you know what, I'm going to be a pro player now, I'm going to focus on this, they'd hit you and think you were crazy. Because a little bit
Yes.
harder to actually be a pro for starters. A little bit easier now that
Hmm.
the West are starting to actually get into uh,
Yes.
getting their own
Right.
pros, but
Hmm.
still not the most solid of careers to choose, clearly.
Right. No.
All right. So you began studying to be a pro. Your parents were completely for it, I guess. Um, and
Yes.
it took you how long to be a pro, to become a professional?
Sorry.
It took you how long to
For
become a
how
pro?
long?
Yeah.
So I started playing at 5, got more serious at 9, became pro at 16.
Hmm.
So altogether it was 11 years, and in my professional go school 7 years.
There's a tournament, I think, to determine
hmm
who's professional each year. Yes. No.
So, mm, so for female players, at the time there was one pro qualification each year, and
Hmm.
then they selected one player, and then there was this INSEE program, and like we would have like one league every month, and in 1 year after 12 leagues, the top person would become pro automatically by the
Oh.
adding up the points. So
Now,
each year too, yes.
now I couldn't help but notice you said for females. That's different from how males were chosen for professional.
Yes, the male
How's it different?
players. Um, so the KBA is selecting 10 male players a year and 2 female players every year. No, actually, that's the year I became pro.
Has it
But
changed since then?
yeah, it changed. Now each year, I think about 15 players become pro.
How many females profession? How many females become pro each year?
Still two,
Still
still two.
two. Is there
Yes.
a lot of interest in females to becoming professional players in Korea? Is there like a lot of people still? Is there a lot of girls trying to be pro?
Actually, the interest is a little down from the time I became pro. So we had some female stars like Louis Naiwei 9 dan, and then we had Park Ji 9 dan and Cho Hye 9 dan. Those players were quite popular, and then there were more girls studying to become pro back then. But somehow, last 5 to 10 years, the number went down. But still, there is substantial number of girls.
All right. Sorry, you can tell I'm distracted. I'm actually getting a warning message that there's a problem with the internet connection between you two. Blah blah blah. Right. Okay.
By the way, do I get to ask questions too?
Oh yeah, sure.
I was curious how you start playing Go.
That is actually a weird roundabout story. Essentially, what happened
Yes.
was a friend of mine went on vacation. Not
Yes.
even outside the not even outside the country. He just went on vacation inside the country. But while he was there, he
Mm-hmm.
found these people playing this game he had never seen before. So he
Yes.
barely learned the rules, but when he came back, he wanted to show
Yes.
everyone this new game he found. I was in
Oh
high school at the
wow.
time,
Oh,
and
I see.
despite the fact that I hated
hmm
board games, and like people had
Yes.
offered to teach me how to play chess before, and I'm like, I don't want to play anything that requires thought. No, 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 that's totally not for me. For some reason, I
Really?
wanted to learn
Yes.
how to play this game. So I
Oh.
did, and I've been learning how to play ever
Yes.
since.
hmm
So, bit weird, but yeah, it just kind of stuck for some reason. And now I get to ask
Wow.
you questions, so it worked out in the end.
Nice.
That actually brings up another question, though, for you. What got you into making Go videos? Because there aren't a lot of professionals in
I
any
know.
country making English Go videos. How did you decide to start doing that?
Yeah, sometimes even I wonder how I started it because it was well in the beginning I had no intention to make it so big. I just wanted to make maybe a few videos and see if people like it.
I think they
But then
did.
so like the beginning think I talked about it once with some other interview, but maybe I repeat. So I think last year at the US Go Congress in New York City, the keynote speech was delivered by the professor from New York University. And then he mentioned these chess videos that were hugely popular. And then this strong chess player would comment as he's playing. And he said that this kind of format was interesting in Go as well.
Mm.
And then I was listening to it and then thinking, yeah, that will be interesting. But then I had no plan to make it myself. And then several months after, I was talking to my friend who is also a Go player. And then he somehow told me out of nowhere that he was watching these chess videos where this chess guy is commenting as he's playing. So I watched some of his videos too. And then I realized that he wasn't like trying anything fancy. At first,
Mm.
I was afraid that I wasn't like funny or I'm not a great public speaker. So I thought it was like beyond my ability. But
Mm.
then when I watched these chess videos, I realized that he was just talking normally what he's thinking. And then I thought this was something I could do as well. And I got curious how people would react if I tried it. So that's how I started.
Have you found it to actually be easy to get into this? Because when you're recording videos versus where you're just playing, you're not
Yeah,
just thinking about your moves, you're thinking about what you're going to say about the move, like what should you be talking about, what should you be
right.
going over, managing time while you're doing all of that. Have you found it easy to like juggle all of those? Are you still having trouble?
Actually, so I wasn't sure about that part. So that's one of the reasons why I started at 5 dan on Taijam. I did have a 9 dan account,
Hmm.
and then I think I could do that too. But then I was afraid that I would like play so badly, thinking about what to say.
Hmm.
So I started at 5 dan, and I also made it anonymous because I was also not sure if I could do it well.
Small small tip, if you wish to remain anonymous in the future, picking a nickname so close to your name might not be the best decision.
I know, but you know what? It was not my intention in the beginning. So what happened was that I was picking this nickname, and
Hmm.
then I think I wanted to make it. Yeah, I wanted to have H, but I actually wanted to have different name. But
Hmm.
those other names were all taken already.
Ah,
So
yes.
I was going through all girls' names starting with H, and
Hmm.
somehow this one was not taken yet.
I see. Yeah, that's the internet. All names are always taken.
Yes. So that's why I have strange spelling with it.
Hmm. I see. One interesting thing that I thought that we could do right now, since you have made the journey from amateur to professional, maybe you can
Yes.
shed some light on some of the things that us amateurs have been getting
Mm-hmm.
wrong, apparently. Like, we tend to try to believe that we have some idea of what we're talking about when it comes to, like, a Joseki or a position in Go. And then the
Yes.
next game you watch, apparently the professionals just love proving that you've no idea what you're talking about. Kind of frustrating. And I thought you could shed some light on if we're just crazy, if this is
Yes.
if are these bad positions, were they ever good
Mm-hmm.
positions, all that good
Okay.
stuff. You can let us know what's going on. The first
Yes.
one is actually one of the most frustrating of all. We used
Mm-hmm.
to say, almost
Yes.
every last one of us, and you can even find lectures online, like hour long,
Yes.
discussing why this
Mm-hmm.
move is terrible. And yet we've been seeing a lot nowadays. Was this ever terrible? Were
Uh,
we just horribly mistaken? Is this always been a good move? Tell us about this move if you could.
okay. That's very interesting question because I I know two things. The first thing is that I haven't seen any pro player playing that. And the second thing is that right off my mind, I can't say why it's bad. um, Let me
Sadly,
think.
sadly enough, it has been appearing in some professional level play, which is what's been
Oh,
annoying
really?
me. Yes, because I kind of
Uh,
used to teach that this is it leaves a little bit too much Aji. You don't want your opponent like getting stones
mm-hmm.
around the R11 area, because then there's like a whole bunch of things that can happen back in there. There's no reason to do that over
Right.
R14, and then we start seeing this instead, and it's like, well, I guess you
Mm.
can play it. I don't know what I'm talking about. But
But
you think this is? Hmm?
when you saw this move in the pro game, was
Hmm.
there any like special circumstance?
It was a straight up Orthodox Kuseki. It was, let's see if we
Mm-hmm.
can recreate this. It was something similar. Okay, this one actually. Something similar to.
Oh wow,
Pretty
I
much that
see.
exactly.
Mm, wow. I guess that player was like experimenting with this move.
Hmm.
So I yeah, that's
Do you think this is normal?
very
Do you think it's being greedy? Do you think what if you were looking over someone's shoulder in like a Go club? They just
yes.
played this move. What is your reaction? Completely normal? Fine?
My first reaction would be that wow, I haven't seen that. And then I my intuition would be that it must be bad because I haven't seen that before. But
Hmm.
then at the same time I can't come up with a reason why it's bad. I have
Okay.
some guess. Some things like, as you said, there could be Aji when white approaches at like L17, but it seems to be very minor, that Aji.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very interesting.
All right. All right.
Oh, another possibility is that if black gets to develop the upper side,
Mhm.
then maybe it's better to have a stone on the O line instead of N, just because in that way you can make your territory bigger, I think,
Hmm.
eventually.
Okay. So one thing that I
Mm-hmm.
noticed was popular for a while, let's say 5 years or so ago, was you
Yes.
had some variations
Mm-hmm.
in which, let's see, do I want to play it this way? One second, I
Yes.
need to think. No, I need to change this. Hello, you need to be here for this. You need to be
Mm-hmm.
here. We had some variations
Oh,
where
yes.
black often would develop mini Chinese
Yes.
variation this way.
Right. Was
However,
very popular.
I
Mm-hmm.
noticed this has lost a lot of popularity nowadays.
Right.
We're either not seeing it nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
um, or a few times that I am seeing it, I'm
Yes.
seeing something a little bit different. I'm actually seeing a descent here occasionally,
Oh, I see.
and attachments here with
Right.
played by white.
Mm-hmm.
Is this still viable, do you think? Not that.
um,
Is this still a viable opening? Is there a reason why this went away? And I can give you control so you can show if you need.
right. So the popular opening was to come over here,
Mm-hmm.
and then black would answer this way, and that, come over here, and exchange this one, and that, and that, and that, and here, and that. Was it that? There were many variations, but this was one of the variations.
Hmm.
And then I think I don't exactly know why people stopped playing this one, but this is not the only opening that were hugely popular and disappeared. I
Hmm.
think that's kind of pattern. Like these pro players, they love to come up with new openings,
Hmm.
and then once they have something new, they would like study that a lot for like 1 year or 2 years using these study groups and national training teams or even professional matches. And then after some time, like they would move on to the next new opening. So it's like a life cycle.
That is what it was. You actually just reminded me of the question that I did not write down. You
Okay.
mentioned that you mentioned specifically
hmm
study groups. What exactly is a study group?
Pro players would meet like regularly, something
Hmm.
like once a week, and then they would study these new openings together, or they would review like their own games.
Uh, have have
Yes,
you or are you in such a study group?
I was in study group before I went to university.
Are you able to reveal what
hmm
other pro players you studied with?
Oh yes, but then none of them was like super famous, so you wouldn't know.
Hmm.
Like I can give you the names, but it wouldn't mean much.
Okay.
But those were like about 5 dan to 7 dan pro players in about mid 20s when I was there.
You said that was before you went to university.
Right. I was the
Uh,
youngest member of the study group back then.
do you miss being in that environment? Do you wish you were still in study groups?
Actually no.
No. Did you
No.
did you not enjoy them?
I did enjoy them, but then I also enjoyed being in the university and I enjoy my work at the moment. So I'm actually happy with the change.
That's another thing that I meant to mention. You're, let's see,
Yes.
Secretary General for the International Go Federation. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
One thing that
It is correct.
I thought maybe it's just me. Maybe
Yes.
I was not aware, but apparently a lot of
Yes.
people aren't aware of that there is an International Go Federation or what they do. So, can you tell us
Yes.
a little bit about what the International Go Federation is and what they do?
So the International Go Federation is the governing body of Go for worldwide. We have 75 national or territorial Go associations as members,
Hmm.
and we organize some international events or endorse or supervise, and we also try to promote Go. The um, let me say, so our members are national associations,
Hmm.
so we don't directly interact with like end players very much. So
Hmm.
for example, we mostly like deal with the American Go Association, and then American Go Association would deal with these American Go players.
I see.
So yeah, that's why this you don't feel it very much.
Hmm.
Another thing is that the IGF has been like focusing on like organizing tournaments and such rather than like doing the public relations or marketing or communications. So it's been kind of quiet, but I think we are trying to improve it.
All right, I see.
Yes.
The next example actually I had from one of my viewers,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see if I want to get this right. All
Mm-hmm.
right, so this one seems a little bit more basic.
Mm-hmm.
They were confused
Yes.
whether when it would be good to back off low versus
Mm-hmm.
when it is good to back off high, because apparently, not back off high, back off with a large knight, because apparently
Mm-hmm.
they're being told nowadays that backing off with a large
Yes.
knight is bad to
Yes.
do, that it's not commonly
Uh,
done, because you don't want your corner to be stolen very easily.
mm,
Is that
right.
something that they are being told correctly, or is that something that they are mistaken about? Is backing off large
Um,
knight good still, or bad? What do you think?
so that's a little difficult to answer because it largely depend on the other areas of the board.
Can you set
But
up?
in general,
Do you
mhm,
think you can set up an opening where it would be good to back off high or back off large versus small?
right. If Black wants to build some like influence toward the center, for example, this choice could be good. Because if Black is trying to build a wall, White is probably not going to enter the 3-3 point.
Mm,
And then by doing that, you can have more points.
I see.
But but I would say in more situations you wanna play Knight move because the corner territory is very big.
Mm,
So generally speaking, I would say it is true that Knight move is better,
okay. So it's
but not
one.
always.
Not always. That pretty much sums up Go. Anything that you're ever
Yeah,
told, it's
true.
probably that way, but not always.
That is so true, yes. I
All right.
feel bad to be vague like that, but
Oh, it's completely
that's
fine. It's
how it
completely
is.
fine.
Yeah.
Here's something that you might be a little bit more concrete on. Um,
Yeah.
I couldn't find an example that this person had, but
Mm-hmm.
they swore up and down that they saw some hide on amateur games and even
Yes.
some professional games where
Mm-hmm.
black kicked here when there was when this area was like completely open. There was nothing. There was no pincers here. It was just
Just
essentially.
that. Yes.
Let's see. I think it was this. I think
Mm-hmm.
not making much sense at all. I have to reverse the colors if I actually want to be correct about this. I'm sorry. Let me do that. Here we go. They swear that they've actually seen the kick. I'm a little. I'm not sure
Yes.
if I trust that, but okay. Assuming they have seen the
Yes.
kick, what do
Mm-hmm.
you think? Kick good or bad?
It's very bad.
I thought as much. Why is it so bad?
So that exchange when you don't have the stones to attack that one black stone,
Mm-hmm.
the exchange is only helping black and not securing your corner at all.
Hmm.
So if you think that exchange is to make territory in the corner, then it's so wrong. That move is done only to prevent black from having eye space
Hmm.
by like playing on D2. So unless that is your purpose, you shouldn't exchange that.
I thought as much. Yeah. Don't really see this very. Excuse me. Don't really see this very often unless there's already some weird pincer in
Right,
place.
right. Yes, yes.
Let's see. One thing that I have on here.
Mm-hmm.
I've been rather confused about this. I
Yes.
think I know what. I think I know why I'm seeing it. I
Mm.
think people are memorizing vague shapes, but they're a little
Mm-hmm.
bit confused as to what they're actually remembering. I think
Yes.
people are confusing the Chinese. I think people are horribly confusing this, but I've actually seen this
Yes.
in mid-level in mid-down level games where they've
Okay.
opened up this way.
Okay. Well, I
It,
would say that's very creative.
that is seems like a polite answer. Have you ever seen
Well,
this before?
no.
No.
I haven't, but why not? I think it could work.
Because I've not only have I seen this in games, I've actually
Yes.
seen this played against me as well.
Oh,
I actually
I
have
see.
multiple videos on my channel where my
Ah,
opponent opened up this way. And I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from. It's
right.
somewhere. Multiple people are playing it. Was
Oh,
it
I
like a
see.
professional thing that I've never heard of before?
Oh, I haven't heard of it either.
All right, going to assume bad then. One other thing that might
Mm-hmm.
you might find interesting. Let's see.
Okay.
There's been a little bit of controversy over this. I like studying games where
Mm-hmm.
there's a rather large disparity of between the ranks because it kind of like breaks down to like something fundamental that's going wrong.
Yes.
For that reason, one thing that I absolutely loved was this
Yes.
series where this professional on Taigem, his
Mm-hmm.
went by the handle Legend 88. He
Yes.
played against this guy called At Night, and At Night
Mm.
had a very interesting style of play. And that is he
Wow.
took Tengen and proceeded
Wow.
to invade every single 3-4 or every single 3-3 point that White made.
Wow.
Do you think taking Tengen and then invading everywhere is an actual style that you can play? What do you think about this?
I don't know. That's like absolutely so, I don't know what to say. It's just so new. Well, my intuitive answer is that it seems bad, but I haven't tried it,
Hmm.
and because I don't have any experience, it's hard to say anything.
Okay, that
But
seems fair.
like the feeling is that the territory Black is building by playing on 3 point is not that big. It's
It's not going
probably
to outweigh
about,
the influence.
right, it's just 10 points over there and maybe 10 points on the lower corner.
Hmm.
And then I believe the white's potential area is probably more than 20. And white should have the Komi also. So my feeling is that this opening must be better for white.
Okay. Now you said that that's something that you felt a little uncomfortable commenting on because you don't have
Hmm.
experience with it. But one thing you do have
Right.
experience with, and I need to look this up real quick just to verify this because I don't really play it very
Yes.
often.
Hmm.
1 second.
I think I know where you're going with that.
You probably, you might. Do you have a hunch? Where do you think I'm going with this?
The black hole opening?
Exactly. It's something like, what do you, here, I'm going to give you control. You can set up the black hole opening if you wish. What
So
did,
I believe. Hmm.
what was your opinion of the black hole opening? Is it something that we'll see future professionals playing all the time? Will like the
Was
next
it
Z
like?
Seidel come to the scene
Yeah.
because he's like really, really good at the black hole opening?
Wait, I kind of forgot where. How did that go?
I think it
Wait,
was
wait.
higher up, one line
Yes,
higher.
I think it was here actually.
Yeah, yeah, that looks
And
right.
then here, that, and was it like that?
I think so. Yeah.
And that? Is that it?
Hmm. I think so.
So I didn't know anything about this opening until one of my viewers sent me this picture of this opening and asked me if I could try it.
Hmm.
And
What did you
then
think about it?
when I first saw it, I thought it was crazy.
Fair
That's
enough.
crazy. But then I got curious, so I tried it. And then the first game, actually, I have two games that I tried. And the first game I lost by something like 1.5 points, and the second game I actually won. So I guess it wasn't as crazy as it seemed.
Do you think it's actually good for people who are trying to improve at their game to try kind of like out there crazy openings like this just to get um, a different outlook on their game? Should they be avoiding these kinds of things? What do you think?
Mm,
Do you think it's good to
I
experiment with something like this?
I think it can be good experiment, yes. Especially if you have fun with this, then you should definitely go ahead. But if you're not comfortable with it, I don't think it's necessary to do it. It
Okay.
depends on your personality, I guess.
All right.
Like when I was studying, I would have hated this because I was very conservative. I would only play the moves that I knew.
So you would never
But
play. So you would never play something like this when you were actually trying to become professional.
right,
Like
never.
one game away from deciding if you would pass or not, you wouldn't be like, "I'm playing something new."
No
Wouldn't?
way.
No.
No. But now I'm just having fun with games, so I get to try these things.
Do you think it would have actually? It's a different question that I have in mind. Do you think it
Yes.
would have flustered you at all if, like, you were one game away from deciding if you would be a pro or not, and the person sitting like across from you, played this? Would that have messed with your head at all?
Um, yes, I think that will disturb me very much.
All right. Yeah, I tried this in one of my games as well, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I apparently need to look at
Yes.
your videos more to get other ideas, because this just looked like I was just dropping stones on the board at random. It's like,
Right.
so there is one thing that I wanted to ask you. Do you actually have a favorite
Yes.
opening?
Favorite opening?
Yeah, an opening you're most comfortable with.
Oh, I'm really boring with that. I mean, when I was playing very seriously,
Hmm.
I did have favorite opening. For white, it was 2 star points, and for black, it was 1 star point and one like corner enclosure with 4 3 points and knight's move.
Mm. I see.
And and then you can see that I was very conservative.
Mm. But now you're not so much. Now you're actually willing to experiment with other things.
Right. So now I still play those openings out of habit.
Mm.
But whenever I remember, I try to play some different openings, partly for more fun for myself and
Hmm.
also partly for my audience.
All right. So I had a couple of questions actually from some of my viewers. One of which wanted to know a little bit about what it's like when you're not a professional. Do you have any interests outside of Go? Like, is there something that when you just want to get away from Go for a little while, is there like another activity or something that you tend to fall back on?
I love reading books, and that had been my lifelong hobby, my first hobby.
Is there a genre
so,
you go to in particular?
so my favorite genre had been the classical literature, and I've been reading a lot of them.
Hmm.
But at the moment, I'm reading Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow.
So
Mm.
I'm actually reading the fifth book. When I started with the first book,
Hmm.
I didn't really plan to read everything through.
Hmm.
But then it was so strange because I was hating what I was reading, but I couldn't stop reading at the same time.
Do you still hate what you're reading? Or have you like
Yes, and I'm still reading.
you're reading it because you hate it? And that's actually exactly why I ceased reading it. Because I was hating what I
Uh,
was reading.
I mean, nothing good happens. Seriously, all the
Yeah.
characters that I like, they go through such a hard time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's depressing. But then at the same time, it's very interesting story, and I think it's a little addictive.
Let's see. Someone asked very, very specifically if you like
Yes.
Korean dramas, and if so, do you have a favorite?
I will have to disappoint your your viewer with that question because I don't watch Korean drama. Oh, actually, do have favorite. I'm sorry. So I grew up without TV, and then
Hmm.
I didn't watch any drama growing up.
Hmm.
And then I live alone in Seoul, and I still don't have TV in my place. But I did watch this drama lately called Miseng, and that one was actually had the main character who studied to become pro but didn't succeed.
Hmm.
So that was very interesting. So I watched those on the internet.
If you could choose to play
Mm.
anyone, past or present,
Oh
professional
yes,
or not,
yes.
is there someone that you would choose to play?
Um,
Any player that's ever existed that pops into your mind? Is there someone that you would like to play?
wow. Maybe Kosei again.
Hmm.
I I think he's very special and I mean extraordinary.
Definitely a good choice. Definitely a good choice.
Actually did play with Isedore Naindan at a match once, and I played several games with Rui Wei Naindan. I
Hmm.
played against Cho Hunhyun Naindan. So
Oh, I wasn't gonna
many
mention
of
that.
the many
I
of the contemporary strong players I had the chance already. So
and you've done
that's
well against some.
partly why.
And you've done well against some of
Sorry,
them. Runaway Nine, I saw that you've played her and you've beaten her before.
just once. I was very
Not ever.
lucky.
Lucky or not, not a lot of people can say that is someone that they've beaten.
Right.
Were you
That
surprised that
was
you were able to beat her?
actually I think that game is the it's my favorite ever among my games.
Have you reviewed it for
And
your channel?
then no, I haven't. Maybe I should.
Definitely should. Definitely should. Especially if it's your favorite game.
Yes, it's I am yeah, I'm very proud of that game.
Yeah, you should review that then. I'd definitely be interested to see like what you
Right.
have to say of it, because I mean I could go over it and I'd probably miss a whole bunch of different stuff.
I was a new professional player at the time.
Were you nervous playing
And
her?
then because people were very surprised that I won. I
Hmm.
was on a like a major newspaper and then on a TV, and then one day I got a taxi and the taxi driver recognized me, and then he didn't get his taxi fare. He gave me free ride.
Were you nervous playing
That
her?
was really cool. I was, yes.
Is that something that when you became a pro, that you had to deal with a lot? Were you normally nervous playing? Were you usually not nervous? How did you actually feel when you first became pro, playing these other professionals?
In the beginning, I was super excited to play other pros because they they were my heroes while studying to become pro. But then I was actually seeing them in person, like interacting.
Hmm.
They were treating me like a friend. So those were like really exciting.
So you took the taxi ride, and I guess you were
Hmm.
surprised that he recognized you.
I was, yes.
But now that you're making English Go videos and you're going to these Western events, I'm guessing you're getting
Yes.
used to being recognized an awful lot more. What's that been
Yeah,
like for you?
right. That was another thing. So it's really I don't know what to say. It's interesting that at at my prime time, I was doing okay. Actually, as a pro, I was in the final round of this major title, and I was representing my country.
Mm-hmm.
I even won this minor tournament once. And then, like now, I am totally out of tournament scene,
Mm-hmm.
and I have more people requesting me than ever before. So I guess that's the power of YouTube. And
Speaking of
yes.
events, are there any events coming up where people can actually look to find you? Are there any tournaments that you're going to be appearing at, or anything Go related that's coming up that where you're going to be?
Yes. So now let me think. So the next one coming is the Korean Prime Minister's Cup in Seoul. That's the International Amateur Go Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be International Pair Go Championship in Tokyo in December. And then in January there will be International Mind Sports Association Elite Mind Games. That will be in January in China. So the three Go tournaments coming, and I'll be working in all three.
Hmm. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else you would like to say or add? Anything that you want to tell people in general?
Well, I would like to thank you for your interest and support for my channel. I am very, very happy that you're enjoying my videos. And like I've been receiving many messages saying like oh, thank you so much. I was like 10Q when I started watching your videos, but now I'm 5Q. Like these kind of messages make me really happy. So I'm very grateful to all my viewers. And thank you, Dwyrin, for inviting me over here.
Thank you for actually appearing. It's been really great being able to talk to you and ask you some questions.
Yes, and then I actually also saw some of your videos also. I think
Uh
you
oh.
have very
I'm
very
only an
nice
amateur.
lectures.
Don't hold it against me.
No, no, no. I mean, I think your lectures are really good.
Thank you. I try to not say anything that I'm uncertain about. But I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Thank you very much for saying so. Thank you very much for appearing here today and allowing me to ask you questions. I'm sure you're busy. Thank you for taking time out of your day to, or out of your evening, I guess, as it
No,
appears behind you.
it was very nice to talk to you.